Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Insight to Invest, the channel that pretty much talks about companies that are very interesting, gives you insight, and you determine whether or not you want to invest. So today we have a very interesting company. It's called CRISPR Therapeutics. CRISPR, as some of you may have heard of before, is a gene editing technology where they essentially can cut out a bad gene in individuals that have genetic-based diseases. And CRISPR Therapeutics, what they do is they aim to move that particular technology from the lab to the real world. So, what does CRISPR Therapeutics do? At its core, CRISPR Therapeutics is developing gene editing therapies for serious diseases. So, we're talking about things like sickle cell disease, um, which, if anyone is familiar, uh, can cause extreme amount of pain through sickle cell crisis. It debilitates the individual. It disrupts their life. As we can see here, this is the shape of a red blood cell that is sickle shaped. It causes a lot of pain and can lead to an early death. Another thing that CRISPR Therapeutics is working on, or actually executing in certain cases, is a therapy for beta thalassemia. This is the shape of a red blood cell in an individual that has beta thalassemia. I actually had a friend that had beta thalassemia, and he could not play sports because if he overexerted himself, he would actually collapse. So CRISPR, working to actually edit out the gene that negatively affects the beta globulin in a red blood cell, preventing it from being able to take oxygen to where it needs to go into the body by editing out the bad gene and giving that individual one-time treatment that could save their life. Or CRISPR also works to produce therapies to heal blood-based cancers. So these are the different methodologies that they use to remove the gene. You can see it on screen here. You can pause to read the technology. So let's take a look at CRISPR's stock price. Year to date, they're up 15.94%, with the stock price of $60.80 per share. Now this price, the stock price has actually been bouncing around quite a bit. So if we take a look at the stock chart, this is a quarterly stock chart over a 10-year period. In this case, since 2017, we see that they have a high of $220. And it has been bouncing around quarterly for quite some time. And CRISPR Therapeutics also is not a profitable company. As we can see here, they have a net income of negative 106 million. And there was an article from earlier today where the CEO sold 30,000 shares. I saw one article that said she sold 30,000. Another article said she sold 60,000. But either way, when the CEO of a company starts selling shares, it's not necessarily the most positive sign to get into a company. As big of a potential, you're talking tens of billions of dollars in this market, and this company is the leader in that space. So there's a lot of potential for future growth. Of course, when you invest long term, you want to hold the stock for 5 to 10 years. So there's, of course, a very large runway. But as of today, insider selling is not a great thing. So looking at this quarterly stock chart, and as I said, you can see it bouncing around here. If we're looking at a quarterly retracement, a good stock price to potentially get in is about $48.25. If you are interested in this particular stock, this particular company, this particular technology, if you want to support it, of course, then that's a pretty solid price to get into if you're interested. And after doing your own research, you decide to invest. 48.25 is roughly about 62% retracement from its high on a quarterly chart. So, of course, a company is more than just their stock price or their future projections. Of course, it's not a profitable company right now, but if you believe in the space, if you think that something like this is never going away, and they're going to keep coming out with better technologies, better therapies, and potentially cure more diseases that were once thought to be untreatable, um, then it's a good space to get into. So hopefully you enjoyed insight into CRISPR Therapeutics. If you liked the information that I provided for you today, please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.